So today on Spearfactor Spearfishing Podcast, we have Ollie Craig, as you might know him. Ollie's a Kiwi, and he's the first Kiwi I think we'll have on the show as a guest. So I'm delighted to pick his brain and talk to him about his story, which, as we were talking before we started recording, it sounds kind of interesting. So let's dive into it. Welcome to the show, Ollie.
Yep. Cheers, Brent. Cheers for having me on.
So, okay, how old are you right now? I guess, yeah, how old are you?
I'm 31 years old.
Okay,
yep,
so 31. You've been diving for how long?
Must be about 6 years, man. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it was a bit of a blurry time when I got into it.
So
a lot of partying and stuff. My memory in that stage is gone. About 6 years. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. So let's talk about that. Most of the people I think that jump into this spearfishing, so many people I know are they get into it like in their late 20s, early 30s, or whatever it is, and they have pretty well established. And you seem to be kind of similar. And I talked a little bit about with this issue before, is that people that spearfish, I think, tend to be a little different than, say, someone that picks up basketball or someone that picks up like maybe rugby or something that's more popular in your area. What is your story? Like, how you grew up, I'm assuming, in Auckland, and can you dive into a little bit more of your background just as a person?
Yeah, sure. The people are a bit unfamiliar about New Zealand. Little island down the bottom of the world, a couple of islands. Mostly farmland. Most people grow up, even if you're in a city, you're growing up mostly in the countryside. Friends have got farms. We're surrounded by ocean, obviously, so it's just an outdoor lifestyle. There's not much else going on here if you're not into the outdoors. So, my background is growing up doing hunting and fishing and all that, just outdoor stuff. That's basically the Kiwi lifestyle. I did do all the traditional sports growing up, rugby and stuff, but as you soon find out, we've got a large Polynesian group of people living here, population, should I say. So there's big boys, and when you're a little white guy, you just soon get a lot of injuries. So yeah, did my ACL, my knee reconstruction and that, so just gave up the sport. Eventually started looking at other options. You get into surfing and stuff a bit less tough on the body. Yeah, but like I said, I didn't get into it till about 26.
So what are you hunting when you say hunting? Like, what are you guys doing? The sheep, or like what exactly you hunt?
No, we've got a lot of wild deer here in New Zealand, like big numbers. So they released them back in the day. Thought it was a good idea. And in New Zealand, we don't have any natural predators. So we don't have mountain lions or anything. No predators for these deer. So they've run wild over the years. So there's some big populations. So it's awesome. We've got if you're keen and just want to get out there, there's lots of public land where you can go hunt, and you can get all your own meat if you're not a couch potato. So it's pretty cool. Mostly deer. There's Himalayan tahr. There's chamois, goats, pigs, all the kind of the main stuff. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, rabbits, turkeys, just kind of the whole lot.
What's the gun laws like there? Like, what are you allowed to have? Because, I mean, honey, I'm assuming you guys are doing it with rifle.
Pretty strict, getting stricter and stricter by the year. You have to have, obviously, a gun license. It's pretty easy to get if you're not a criminal and just kind of a normal dude, as you would say. Do a kind of a 2-night school. A few background checks. It's pretty easy to get a gun license. But we're quite limited in the guns you can own here. No handguns at all, so you're limited to rifles and shotguns and the like. Unless you've got you're part of a gun club and stuff, you can go and get use handguns, but you can only use them at the club. Very, very strict around handguns. and we had a bit of a mass shooting a year or two ago, or a couple of years. It's gone probably fast. So yeah, basically no semi-auto rifles, high calibers and stuff. Like it's getting pretty strict now. Yeah. But hey,
Do you
we've got enough guns to do normal hunting. You don't really need that stuff.
Right. Now, do you typically do you guys use bow at all down there? Do you personally?
Bow?
With a bow and
I
arrow?
don't. I'm trying to stop myself buying one at the moment because it's just another hobby. But I will be getting into it. A lot of people bow hunt. Yeah, it's pretty popular. As I said, there's some good concentration of deer numbers and pigs and goats around. So it's quite popular in the hunting. Yeah. One thing I'm just trying to hold off because it will go hand in hand with spearfishing, I know. So it's just another hobby I'm trying to hold off. Yeah.
Yeah, as my wife would say, oh, another addiction that's going to cost money, you know? I was like, I know where this goes. Yeah.
Yeah, we all do. So I'm holding off. I don't think I can hold off much longer though. Yeah.
So after getting destroyed by the Polynesians, and you got into surfing and you were looking at other stuff, did you go to college down there too, or?
Yeah, did some after college, we call it, university or whatever. Yeah, did a couple years. Not really sure what I was wanting to do. Just kind of one of those guys. Floating around doing different stuff. But I heard I nearly quit what I was studying halfway through. Then I found that I can get a 1 year working visa to the United States if I finish that, you know. So I finished it up and took off straight away to the States. No job, nothing lined up, just went over there to do like a 1 year working holiday. So that was pretty scary as a young guy, but all part of the story. It was pretty exciting. So worked and travelled West Coast, East Coast, all around the States. Ended up in Greenwich Village, up near Connecticut, working in some golf high-end resort thing, whatever you call it, country club. All sorts of stuff, man. Yeah, so it was an interesting time. Yeah.
So is that where the partying kind of came in your 20s?
Oh, that was probably 10 years before that, when I was about 14, 15. No, yeah. It's pretty bad here in New Zealand. The drinking scene for young people. Yeah, it's not good.
Why do you think it is so? Drinking. Why do you think? Yeah, so why do you think that is? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, there's a few theories. For one, our alcohol is absolutely ridiculously expensive here. All the taxes and stuff, as with everything, our taxes on things down here are just ridiculous. That's why it's very expensive living down here for a lot of things. But so say you're legal enough to go out to the bars and clubs for a drink, it's an expensive night. So a lot of people will sit at home, they'll buy a box of beers at home or whatever, and just dip charge that and try and loosen up before they hit the club, so it saves a bit of money. That's one theory.
Yeah, we call it pre-drinking here.
Pre-drinking. So that's one thing, but I don't know. It's just ingrained in society. It's not the best thing. Yeah, it was a wake up call coming over to States and Europe and all around the world. It's quite different. Yeah, different countries. Yeah, but I think it's still pretty prevalent everywhere.
Yeah, so you think it was significantly different here that you saw than in your hometown?
Yeah, because I mean, when I was in the States, you'd go out and you grab a beer for $2. You know,
right?
You just go down and just I mean, it's not going to be the only reason, but few things like that definitely contribute, I reckon. Yeah, but I think times are finally changing. I don't know. I don't hang out with 15, 20-year-olds, so I'm not sure what's going on these days.
I do, unfortunately, because I coach them. So, you wouldn't believe the shit they say.
Go over there.
You wouldn't believe some of the shit
Yeah.
they say. Well, we
Oh, I would. Yeah.
yeah, you would. You would. I'm like, do you know you just told your coach that? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, especially boys, man. They're just good times. I can't. It's funny because I identify so much with them. I can't really say anything to them other than like, okay, let me tell you how this is going to go. We should, be smarter or whatever, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's
No.
hard to be like,
In one ear, out the other.
yeah, exactly. Mike, you're not going to listen to shit, but you're going to think about this about 20 years and go, man, he was right. Like, my dad said the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing now? Like when you came back to New Zealand from the US, or from Europe, when you came home, what was it? What'd you get into?
Oh man, I was kind of back and forth traveling for years. I ended up after the States down in Chile, South America for close to a year, teaching English. Then I kind of came home and I heard about luxury yachts, super yachts, whatever you want to call them. I was kind of looking for my next move. Heard you can travel and get paid well at the same time. So yeah, just put my head down, saved some more money up, did the course as necessary, and took off straight away again within 9 months or something, and flew over to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, one of the big super yacht hubs. Just got into it within 3 months. I was working in a shipyard. I landed a job and flew me down to Puerto Rico and joined a 50-meter Explorer, and did the whole Caribbean and all over the world for a couple of years. Yeah, just went hard. That's where I picked up spearfishing. The owners on this Explorer, they were billionaires, very rich, wealthy people, and yeah, they had world records and stuff. Just fully into spearfishing. So whenever they were on board, we would be out chasing fish wherever, very remote destinations. Did the whole Caribbean. After that, we went up to kind of Norway. We're down to Sri Lanka, Madagascar, just anywhere. Anywhere where there weren't other super yachts. They were quite, secluded, humble people. Weren't at the big Monaco boat shows or anything. Not for them. So yeah, we're just chasing fish. It was, awesome. Yeah. Well, I got to watch them shoot a lot of fish.
Well, I was going to say that's quite a resource to have, though, where you're able to spend time with people that are experienced, but they've also experienced in traveling different places. Was there any place that kind of stuck out in your mind that you went that you would like dream of going back to, or just really left a mark?
Yeah, some pretty amazing spots. Definitely Madagascar. I mean, that's quite a well-known spearfishing spot, obviously. But yeah, anywhere around kind of the African coast, you're going to be doing very well. So that was a pretty neat spot and beautiful place to travel. But yeah, abundance of fish life and stuff down there. I'd love to go down there and go for some doggies and sailfish and stuff.
Where was that at?
Another little island that rings a bell. Sorry?
Where was that at? You broke up right where you said it. Was that Madagascar you're talking about still?
Yeah, Madagascar. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty special place, man. Just a lot of culture and just cool place. Yeah, but we went to this a little island off the coast of islands, I believe they're called. Had never heard of them until we got there. Kind of looks like the Maldives and all that stuff without the people. It was very remote, awesome, just still small little villages there living, and the owners of the yacht were out spearing and getting big dogtooth tuna, you name it. It was a pretty neat spot. World class waves, no one on them. Just there's still a lot of amazing locations out there. Yeah.
It's nice to know, and I mean this sincerely. It's amazing to know, and I tell people this, that there are still spots out there. You just got to go. Like, that's where kind of like, I don't really do the resort thing because I want to go. If you want to shoot the same fish that everybody else shoots or surf the same waves that everybody else surfs with crowds or whatever it is, go to those places and guaranteed to get some fish, cool. But the journey, like the shit you've seen, because I can attest to what you're talking about a little bit, because some of the places I've gone, usually people don't go because of my job, but it's like you go to those places and you're like, this is fucking just incredible that, you know, nobody, especially Westerners, a lot of times have been here or even think about going here. And you're just like, yeah, I love it, man. That's so cool that you got that chance to ride a yacht, you know, around some of those places that are just incredible.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very lucky. Yeah, it was a pretty neat experience. Yeah. So yeah, a few spots there. Yeah, that I won't share. A few spot
No,
X's.
yeah, I'm thinking like, let's go surfing. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's so funny. But so, other than Spot X there and Madagascar, was there any more like, I guess, places? You said you went to Chile. How was Chile? Did you spearfish down there, or did you just? There's good waves down
Nah,
there,
that
but
was. I mean, that was before the introduction to spearfishing. So yeah, just travelled around there and drunk a lot of good wine and ate good food and whatnot. Yeah, neat country though. But I think there is a bit of spearfishing up that coast, but it's not the clearest water and whatnot. Yeah,
right.
quite
It
green
kind of it
and
kind
stuff.
of reminds, yeah, it reminds me of our Pacific Northwest, where it's pretty rugged,
Mm,
green water, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, probably fairly similar.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how would you, all these places you traveled, and I know it's different climates, but how would you rate New Zealand compared to, because I know US guys go down there all the time for those 100 pound, you know, everybody wants the 50 kilo uh, kingfish.
Kingy.
You know, it's the dream fish. They want to go
Yeah,
to those islands. Yeah. How would you rate,
yeah.
like, as far as health or just abundance of fish and all of that, where
Mm.
New Zealand is compared to other places?
Look, I still haven't dove myself enough around the world to really know. I mean, when I was on the yacht, I was taking them out. I was the guide as such on the boat, dealing with fish, and we would help find the locations and stuff. But we were dealing with guns on boards and all that stuff, so I didn't get too much underwater. But we did jump in when we could. Even from what I see online, I think we definitely do have an abundance of like fish. It's a very healthy ecosystem, definitely, for most parts around the country. I mean, just the general, you can just, even close to the main city here in Auckland with a couple, mill people and stuff, you can still quite easily go and spear a couple of fish for dinner, no problem. So you're very healthy in lots in that aspect. But we're quite limited to species. I think that's the biggest downfall. I think most people would say we've got obviously the large yellowtail kingfish. That's the big draw card for tourists coming here to spear. We've got the large snapper here, which are a prize fish and very hard to hunt reef species. But other than that, it's lots of other little small fish, but we don't have the Spanish mackerels, other reef species, jobfish, and all this stuff. So it's but yeah, hey, it's different. Yeah, I
What
mean
kind
the
of
abundance of
snapper?
yellowtail
Sorry.
kingfish, it's amazing. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was saying. I'm sorry. What kind of snapper do you guys have there? Like, because I've seen.
So it's like I think it comes under the silver sea bream family or something. Paragus, I forget the name exactly, but um, it's not like your red snapper or anything. I guess it's a type of red snapper. I'd have to Google the name, but basically they live on the reef. They're very skittish, very any small sign of human or noise or anything, they're gone. So they're a typical kind of difficult reef species to hunt, but they do get quite large, up to like 15 kilos more, 16, 17, I think they're the records. So quite large snapper. Um, yeah, but that's kind of the main fish caught and speared in New Zealand. Those and kingfish, yeah. So, hey, yeah, there's nowhere else with such large numbers of actually huge kingfish in the world. I mean, So that's the biggest draw card. But it would be nice to have a few more species. Yeah. I guess a blue water spearfishing is kind of starting to take off a bit more, just with actually having, well, the sport's growing for one, like crazy down here. It's just booming, and better quality spear guns and equipment. So we do have one of the highest concentrations of striped marlin in the world. So that fishery's really good. So that's becoming more and more popular each year. Guys targeting striped marlin. We get the big southern bluefin tuna run down here. No one seems to be getting them too much yet. Haven't really figured them out, but a couple have been spared. And we have the giant, I think it's the Atlantic, not the Atlantic, one of the bluefin species down off the west coast of the South Island. We have the big hokey trawler boats out there, so they're all processing fish and stuff. So if you're brave, you've got to go out. I think it's about 50 miles off the coast, quite far off, and they're humongous. 200 to 500 kilo tuna, and quite a few guys have got onto those, spearing those. What else have we got? Wahoo. There have been wahoo caught in New Zealand, but very rare. Mahi are getting quite popular. If you find anything drifting out there in the summer, a lot of guys are starting to shoot those. What else have we got? We've got a lot of tuna species, the smaller ones, albacore and stuff. They get shot, but in terms of reef species, should I say that? Yeah, we're pretty limited, man. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you when you're working on your super yacht, what was your job when you were on the yachts?
So deckhand, like entry level role outside. So, if guests are on, we're taking them out cycling, taking them spearfishing, obviously, scuba diving, or just dropping them off at some remote beach and setting up a epic little day tent and stuff on a beach and barbecue. Basically just driving tenders around, sorting them out, stuff like that. We had a helicopter on board, which was pretty neat. So helping out with helicopter operations and that. Gone a few flights, luckily, most places, the crew. So that was pretty neat. And just general maintenance. This was an old boat from 1990. A lot of rust repairs and just, as we all know, who have been on boats, they no matter what size, they're constantly breaking and stuff. So we had quite a few Kiwis on board, and we just fix things. So otherwise, so they were only on board for 3 to 4 months of the year in total. These the owners, so would be parked up in a port around the world, partying. I guess that's where that came in. That's where the blurry mind came in. Yeah.
I can't imagine the well, I guess I could in some ways, but the amount of just debauchery, whatever that took place on that thing. What is the craziest thing that ever happened to you or any of your crew when you guys were like, I don't know, working or partying or whatever?
Oh, I won't be able to tell you the craziest stories, man. There's no way I'll be able to tell that on here. Not a chance. Not many people will hear those stories.
Yeah. What's the most interesting story?
Oh, I think they go hand in hand, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, no, geez, just endless stuff, eh? As you know, when you're traveling, it's just crazy, the stuff you see. But Madagascar was a standout for just random stuff happening, eh? We'd have all the fishermen were anchored out off one of the main islands there, and we were there for about 3 or 4 months at anchor. So obviously we just had all these bait fish and stuff starting to congregate under our boat, and we'd have about 20 dugout wooden canoes, fishermen. They'd be out there every night because we had spotlights and stuff on the boat, and just fishing hard, and they'd all be smashing up against the side. We'd have to kind of tell them, come on guys, you're chipping the paint with their big wooden boats, but they were getting a good feed, so we're used to a few paint repairs. We didn't really care. I don't know, there's not really crazy stories. just the sights we'd see. Yeah, just middle of the ocean, crossing the Atlantic. You're a few weeks either side from land by boat. So yeah, just the bioluminescence and whales and stuff. It's just incredible. That in the middle of the ocean, it's a special place to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Unreal.
wildlife wise, with all that traveling, you've had to see some just insane wildlife. Was there anything that kind of stuck out? Like you said, whales, but anything else?
Yeah, a ton of whales when we were coming close to the African coast. They were just everywhere. The humpbacks, just never seen so many whales in my life. That was pretty impressive. So yeah, that whole coast is a very, very fishy spot. Man, we see some cool stuff just off New Zealand. I mean, like I said, the striped marlin fishery and stuff. I've seen some awesome bait balls and striped marlin myself. But yeah, on the boat, where else did we go? Geez, that big blur. It was just non-stop fishing travel. I'd have to have a think, man. Yeah, nothing right off the top of the head, but just whales galore, dolphins galore. I mean, all that stuff. Yeah, just kind of it's become a bit of a novelty these days. Even we got sick of tropical islands and stuff, I'd seen that many. Yeah, it was bizarre. It's a bizarre kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend that worked in the Marshall Islands for a year, and he said he got sick of diving on coral reefs and all that because it was just the same thing every day, he said. And I was just like, I don't understand. You can be sick of it, And he's like, it's literally because he was just stationed there. He was like, he's on an atoll in the middle of the South Pacific or the Western Pacific. He's like, it's the same stuff, man. Like it just becomes normal. Coconut crabs and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do get a bit
some big tiger sharks, Yeah. So with you spearfishing, so when you first started, like, explain, I guess, talk us through how, like, your first time diving, how it kind of went down and how you got into it.
Actually, my first ever time spearfishing was my 21st birthday on the coast here of New Zealand, and I'd hired a holiday home for the weekend with my mates, and we had some Hawaiian slings, 3-prong things, and decided we'd try this thing out, and we swam around the corner and smashed up all the sea urchin, kinna, we call them here. It's a natural burley for all the reef species, and that was just pure instinct at the time. We'd never even heard about the sport really at all, and we just shot anything that moved, which wasn't the best, but that's kind of how it is for a lot of young guys starting out, unfortunately. But stuff like these podcasts and stuff is going to help with that. But yeah, that was my first ever experience. We did eat what we killed, though. We got some red moki here. They're a bit frowned upon by shooting, but we did eat it, and it was actually good eating. But we'll leave that there. But yeah, so joining the yacht, I'd never picked up an actual spear gun, and one of the first things is joining deckhand, because it was one of our main roles to get up to speed with spearfishing. We had all rife guns on board, about 20 big wooden rife guns, mostly the Rife Island, I think they were called at the time, big 3-4 banded wooden gun, and we had to do time trials loading this spear gun at the time. Now I think back, it was quite nuts. We were doing it out of the water on the side of the boat, and we had to it was all de-rigged. You'd have to load it up, load all the bands, and we're time trial. That was a bit dangerous perhaps, but so that was the first spear gun I'd loaded, was these 3-4 banded wood guns. It was just learn it or don't, straight into the deep end. And then I think that was one of the first guns I'd shot as well, because we'd float around in between, the guests coming on board and stuff, and there's always bait fish congregating under the boat. So we were shooting these tiny little mackerels and stuff with these big wooden guns. So that was a laugh. But so anything after that was a breeze to load, and actually, shoot with as well, because those things are just absolute cannons. You snap your wrist almost if you're not holding them properly,
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
So
yeah, you
I never
will.
had problems after that loading guns because of
Right.
started like that.
That's the California diver way. Is we just take a 2x4 and put about 6 bands on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we noticed that you guys get a bit of stick from the Kiwis, I think.
We get it from everywhere. Like I had Chris Coates on.
You get the job done.
Yeah, and
Hey,
he was
I still, yeah,
well. Like I said, well, the thing is, I don't know. It's funny because growing up, right? Like you spearfish when you're young, and that's your introduction. So you like exactly what you said. You're blasting like reef fish with these like 3 bands or 5,
yeah,
whatever. Like oh, this
yeah,
is what we do, you know.
yeah,
And every time, the
yeah,
entire shaft just goes through this fucking poor fish. Um, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I can relate to that. But like now that you've done it, like you said, everything else sure like is easy. I mean,
Oh, it's a breeze, yeah.
yeah,
No, but the first actual fish I speared, which was memorable, was we're up in a small island, Saint Helena Island. It's off the coast of, it's in the middle of the Atlantic, off the west coast of Africa. Everyone knows Ascension Island probably if you're into spearfishing. Might have
yeah.
heard of it. Yeah, so it's
I know
south of
St.
there.
Helens. I know St. Helens well. Actually, I was looking at it.
Yeah, Saint Helena. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
St.
not
Helena.
as
Yeah,
productive and large fish as Ascension. Pretty much everyone just goes to Ascension, but it's a very very cool place. I'd highly recommend anyone to go there. They want more people to come there. They live off a bit of tourism and stuff. It's part of their livelihood, so it's not a hidden secret. At the time, the airport was not open. You couldn't fly there, so we had to take from Cape Town, South Africa, 10 days up to the Saint Helena Island, and we got in for a couple of afternoons before the owners arrived, and managed to shoot an amberjack. It was my first fish other than like a bait fish. It was 16 kilo, and yeah, it was just insane. After that, when you shoot a kind of sizable fish, anyone who does that spearfishing's just hooked, eh? Yeah, it's like people getting their first kingfish here in New Zealand, so that was cool. But that place is crazy. There's a couple of small kind of villages on the island, and with only a few kilometers between them, literally like 1.5, 2 kilometers, or whatever you want to say, 2 miles, 1 mile, they had different accents on this island. It was a weird place. They're all kind of a bit of bit of an outcasted population. I'm not sure. It's very nice people, but it was one of the strangest places we've been to. Where Napoleon ended up, as you would know if you've been there or you know about it. Yeah.
yeah. I've read quite a bit about it because I was looking at Ascension and I'm like, okay, Ascension can't be the only place on this planet that has the same fish, same abundant. I mean, it's
Yeah.
unique because it's in the middle of the ocean. And so I was looking at all these other
Yeah.
places. So I started Googling Saint Helena, and
Yeah.
like all I found was guys had to take boats like 10 days to get there, even boats from the UK or whatever they did. It was this huge passage to get there. So I didn't realize they had an
Yeah.
airport now. But I yeah,
Yeah.
is it protected at all there to spearing or
You had to get a spearfishing license and a few other things, which is all attainable. I think it just cost money. Um, if I remember, I think you can only go by charter. This is probably six years ago now, so I'm not sure exactly, but if things have changed. But abundance of fish life there. That was probably by far the fishiest place I'd ever seen. Yeah, the yellowfin industry there. These guys are out there catching them, getting 3 ton a week, 3.5 ton a week of yellowfin. Um, just just insane, and the numbers were increasing every year, like the biomass population. So just a super healthy fishery. We actually went out there for a fish. Wish I'd jumped in now, but literally just bamboo sticks, 1 meter of nylon, and a hunk of bait on a hook. Over, bang, we're just chucking them in the boat. It was like those viral videos you see on the internet of guys with the big bamboo poles just flicking in tuna. Just unreal. Yeah. I think, yeah, but they've got wahoo, yellowfin, mahi-mahi, all the good stuff out there. Yeah, I'd love to go back.
I can't imagine what the reef must have looked like just with the reef fish species, just the abundance of life on that thing.
Yeah, just a cool place. It's not like you said a boring tropical island. It's this volcanic, rough, wild, sheer cliffs, and just the most wild place you've ever seen. And that obviously usually translates down into underwater, you know. So just a very cool place.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was surf there too, but it looked pretty rocky, the shoreline.
Nah, not surf.
Yeah. But the thing about that, was there a bunch of sharks too? I assume it'd be like healthy all around, predators and fish.
I don't remember seeing any. I'm sure they've got some sharks there, no doubt, as with everywhere, pretty much, eh? So yeah, but just yeah, tons of groper and amberjack and you name it. So yeah, pretty neat place, man.
Incredible.
Yeah,
I think you're probably one
pretty
of
neat
the
place.
few, like you're probably a handful of people in the world that have dove there, I would imagine. I mean, yeah, it looks.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's probably a fair few, but like you said, like most people they just go to Ascension because everyone's chasing the big fish. You know, you're not going to get these record fish there, but if you want to shoot fish, you're going to have a very good chance of getting them there. So maybe it's more for perhaps intermediate guys. Maybe not. It's a pretty wild coast. Even on the calm days, it was rough and choppy. So yeah, you wouldn't want to really be a novice there. So I guess yeah, that's kind of why a lot of people just go to Ascension. Yeah, they want that 80, 100 kilo yellowfin. So
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It's nuts. I think everything there is big, at Ascension too. But I there's got to be another place out there that's Ascension that somebody's like, shut the fuck up, Brett. Don't talk about it. Like somebody listening right now, there's got to be a place, an island or something. I don't know. Anyways.
Oh, there's got to be.
Yeah.
It just is a very unique place, though. That bit of ocean with the currents that just hit it. It's the warm and cold currents.
Right. Lots of
Lots of
food, for everything.
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah. It's probably a standout.
So what made you, because we've been talking for a little bit now, but what made you decide to, like, when was it where you were like, all right, I'm addicted to this spearfishing shit. And as a matter of fact, I want to post and I want to have my YouTube channel and I want to go all about it.
Yeah. Well, we just, as I said, any chance we were pretty much just jumping off the back of the boat. It was lunch breaks, anything we started to see fish around the boat. So we'd scoff our lunch, run off the back and grab a little horn sling or something. And we're trying to shoot fish off the back and got to Saint Helena. And then we had to come back to South Africa. So we're like, shit, boys, this is pretty cool. Like, this is exciting. We get why the owners of the boat are hard out into it. We're like, and we'd seen like dinosaur fish being pulled on by them, world records, all sorts of fish. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. So we had no idea about brands, spear guns, anything. So we just looked up spear guns, South Africa, and luckily we got Rob Allen Spearfishing, home of one of the the best gear in the world is in South Africa.
Yeah,
we didn't know if it was good or not. We looked him up and ordered a shitload of gear each. It was for us earning pretty good money, and the prices in South Africa are cheap. It was just ridiculous. We're comparing back home, so we just went wild. We got a wetsuit of each color and different thickness at each, and how many guns, and the whole shebang just went all out. And then it probably was about 6 months or a year after that, I decided to finish up and head back to New Zealand. So came home with all this gear and still had no idea about the sport really, like, safety or anything, as we were mostly just guiding these dudes and chucking them in on the best spots. So yeah, ended up just every weekend when I was back in New Zealand, I'd just drive a couple of hours. I kind of had the instinct just to go to the far reach places, as kind of maybe had been ingrained, going around the world, knowing that you had to go to more remote places to get good fish. I mean, it's common sense, you'd think, but so yeah, I'd drive 3 hours every weekend, weekday, and I'd just take off, sleep in the back of my wagon, and had a kayak or just off the beach. Just was just going for it, and I just started getting good fish, and thought this is pretty cool. Might start, get a GoPro recording, and then someone suggested, why don't you just make a video one day? You got all this cool footage, and I thought, about time. I'm one of those guys with GoPros with a couple of external hard drives full of hundreds of videos. So just put a video together, and surprisingly got a bit of traction. It was really bog basic, and looking back, I think it's still shit video, but plenty of kill shots and whatnot, and well, might make another one, and it just went from there, man. Made a fair few, then kind of just sat back and didn't do much about it. I never had an intention of making a full-time YouTube channel or anything like that. Then I'd make the odd video here and there, and then it wasn't until the old lockdown, worldwide lockdown, and had a bit more spare time with a lot of guys, and made a few more videos, and just had that extra traffic with everyone sitting at home, and they started going really well. So I just kind of stuck at it, and people seem to like my style. It's a little bit different than other people's. There's not a lot of guys in New Zealand with larger YouTube channels, so something a bit different from just the same old tropical diving out there, I guess. Maybe, who knows? But it seems to be trickling along all right, eh? Yeah. A natural progression.
Yeah, I think you do a little bit different. I mean, your format and everything, the way you have it all set up, but is your Primal Pursuit, is that your own brand in New Zealand, or is that the name of the?
Yeah, so it's just a kind of a brand I made. I was going to do, I wanted to do some merch, and just kind of came up with the name Primal Pursuit because I do a lot of hunting and stuff as well. So it just ties into that whole lifestyle. Whatever you're into, it could literally be just camping and camping on the beach and making a fire. It doesn't have to be shooting fish or deer. Just that kind of primal lifestyle. So I came up with that and just linked that in with the channel, and that's it.
I love it. It's good shit. I love it because it's another guest I had. He's from the Big Island of Hawaii, but he goes to the mainland a lot, and that's his whole kind of thing too. Is just that going back to that primal, where it's just that animal instinct kind of way of living, to clean the mind, I guess you could say. No, that's good stuff. And then, so what would you say is your future plans? Like, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself continue to do this? Are you doing this full time?
Yeah, pretty much, man. Yeah, I've just kind of last six odd months full time into this mostly. I mean, I do the odd bit of contract work and stuff for all odd sorts, as I've done pretty much every job out there these days. So odd bit of work comes up to help supplement it. But going full time into it. I was doing a bit of work on some super yachts for a while. That all kind of ended. Just mandates and all random stuff. I just had enough of the industry. So just full time into it. Trying to make it work, man. So it will. I'm scraping by, but if I keep at it, I'm sure it'll only grow. Seems to be, yeah. So I came back. This is one part of the story. I'd come back to New Zealand and needed some work, so I got into. I thought, shit, I like the spearfishing thing, and went to one of the local shops, spearfishing shop, and got a job. Thought this will do for a month or two. I just need some money. Never really wanted to get into retail, but anyways, ended up there for 3 years, manager and all this stuff, and actually learned a lot there. Really good way to learn learn people's spots. All the customers know. Definitely got a couple, but no, I learned a lot there. All the gun rigging and stuff like that, on top of what I learned on the boats and all sorts of stuff. So that added my knowledge, and a good step in the journey. But had enough of retail. People can be quite difficult. So yeah, did my time there, and I've pretty much said I'm never going to go back to a 9 to 5 again. It's just not for me. That's why I've just been traveling jobs around the world for all these years and doing odd things. I just can't do it. It's just not in my nature.
Well, it's good for you.
This seems to work well for me, working for myself, man. Yeah.
It's good you can do that. I will say one thing that COVID did for a lot of people, including my family, is that it showed that you can work remotely, which by working remotely in a lot of ways, I found sometimes you're more productive. And also, depending on who you work for, my boss, like, it's typically a 9 to 5, if you want to call it that, sort of, but it's like, I don't really give a shit what you do as long as you get it done. So, that freedom allows the morning surf or the morning, or the afternoon spear or something, whatever it is. It's like, what are you doing? I'm going diving. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can you just have this ready by Monday? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So that's kind of nice. But going back to what you said about working in a shop, the other, like you said, about learning so much, the cool thing is everybody has their own little way of doing things. So you get to sample this big variety of ways that people like doing things. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the amount of interesting people I met, and a lot of my dive buddies now were, customers and stuff. I do mostly dive by myself, which I know it's against the rules and all that stuff and not recommended, but it is what it is, mate. I'm one of those guys. There's a fair few of us out there that love to dive by themselves. My life, if I die, I die. I'm not worried about that.
You know what? I got to say something about that, because we were talking about this weekend, and I honestly think, the major. Maybe I'll get a lot of fucking hate mail for this, because I do preach, dive with a buddy for sure. But I do think the majority of people either started out or prefer. I mean, I prefer to dive by yourself, because it's just that much more personal. But the difference, I was talking to my friend about it. I go, in California, we're so shallow all the time. It's not like we're doing these hard 90-foot dives, but it's almost like you go into this mode where the people that I know that have passed out and drowned recently, they were doing 90, 100-foot dives. And I'm all in that situation, it seems crazy to me. But hey, like you said, if that's the risk you're willing to take, then you know what? Cool. My only thing to that is for me, being married, having kids, and people relying on me or whatever it is, it's really not about me. My friend just had a baby, and he's like, dude, I realize I gotta fucking have.
Yeah, there definitely changes.
It's different, right?
In life. I mean,
so it's,
I don't have a family, so
right.
It is kind of different.
Yeah, so it's a little different. But I mean, when we were diving this weekend, it was so shallow. It was like kelp forest, but it was 10, 20 feet max. And I'm diving around. I was like, dude, there's a reason why people in California, we just don't fucking dive well. Number one, we don't have to. Number two, it's just not deep.
Yeah.
Half the fish I shot were from the surface.
Yeah. It sounds like here, man. It's not deep diving.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, how deep are you shooting these yellowtail kingfish at? I said, fuck, a lot of them from the surface. Most of them max 5 meters. You just dive down a couple of meters and whack one. It's not deep diving. All the biggest snapper, they're shot mostly in the 2 to 3 meters of water, right up in the shallows. And you just don't need to. But yeah, it's not like the tropics at all. So yeah, there's some species like the boarfish we have and stuff. They're on weed lines at around 15 meters. Whatever in feet that is. You guys can do the maths. But really, you don't really need to go too much past 15 to 20 meters at all. few species, but not many. Yeah, so that's the reason why my diving hasn't really progressed too much, because I dive by myself, never push my limits, even remotely close, and because I don't need to. So I'm pretty much on the same kind of level, but it works here in New Zealand. I will need to do some training if I go overseas. Yeah, I just hate pool training, man. That shit, it's just like running around a bloody a loop athletics track just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, no, it's like I spearfish to get away from all the hard shit so that I can just decompress and relax and kind of zone out.
Yeah,
So I guess,
exactly.
but there have been times like when I was going diving, depending on what I'm going diving for, it's like in order to really enjoy, like then that's when you train and train and train. Like if I know I'm going somewhere and we got to dive deep as shit, it's like, okay, well, we'll better start doing my diaphragm stretches and actually have to train. I don't enjoy it,
Yeah,
but it does make it
yeah,
nice when you're diving,
yeah.
to be comfortable and dive. But
It does. Yeah, it is
yeah,
going to make the day a little trip better for sure. Yeah. So one day I might do some training. Yeah.
that's an interesting topic though, what you said. And it's
Yeah.
like my diving hasn't progressed because I don't need to. And I agree with you 100%. Like I've seen a lot of people
Yeah.
posting stuff where it's like, oh, I pulled the trigger at this depth. And I personally, I'm like, well, fuck, that sounds like a lot of work. I'm like, damn, dude, I gotta, like in order to get like that, I really gotta, that's a lot of fucking work. And here, and just like, it sounds like just like where you're at, it's like, I don't have to do that. So 90% of my spearing is 60 feet and shallower. I don't necessarily have to be pushing my limits to 120 feet or, like I said, don't get me wrong. That's really a great tool to have, 100%.
Yeah, totally. If you can dive deeper and for longer, then yeah, I'm jealous. That's good. I mean, I would like to, but yeah,
What that would require would be me to basically, and we talked about this with my buddies in Guam, is like stop spearfishing and exclusively train for diving. And the reason why I say stop spearfishing because I only have so much time to spearfish like here locally.
yeah.
So if I was gonna,
Yeah, you're right. And like, there's more to life, eh? Even though it's a big part of my life. Like, I love just going to the gym and just lifting heavy weights because I know there's lots of health benefits to that as well. And I just like having some strength and yeah, having more muscles not going to help you with diving deeper at all. But there is more to life, and I like to have just an all round balance of yeah stuff like that. So hey, and maybe not diving deeper. It's made me improve my hunting techniques to make up for that as well. That could be a positive I'm trying to find out of not diving that deep.
well, I think it was
Might be right though.
Barry Paxman was like, yeah, I never had a good breath hold, and I remember
Yeah.
and I remember him saying that, and I was like, oh, there's hope, right? Like he's the fucking legend. Like he's never had a good breath hold. Perfect. Like, I mean, I have a decent breath hold, but it's just different, I guess. I have a lot of friends that are, over 100-foot divers. And I'm like, yeah, man, in order for me, because of, like you said, the strength training over the years, all the other shit, at 43 years old, I would have to alter my lifestyle completely in order to achieve that for the most part. And I dive for fun. I enjoy it. So, if the situation where it's like, I'm going to go to Madagascar and I want to be able to, hit 100 feet because this fish lives there, then I'll train up for it, and make things more fun. And, but like in that situation too, then we start diving with buddies.
Yeah, like I like to go when people start out and they just go, oh, where should I go? And I just go to as far away as you can from people and fish your spots. It's the best place to practice. You're going to shoot more fish, and that's kind of like if I go overseas. Yeah, I don't want to go to the main spots. I want to go to some remote spots and and most of the time they're going to have a lot more fish, which means you're not going to have to dive as deep. The reefs are going to be more abundant, all that kind of stuff. I know there's definitely a few species which you're going to have to, no doubt, you have to dive to a certain depth, but it's not always the case. You don't have to be this deep diver, and it's about just I like to exploring places. It's the whole part of it. It's not all about getting the fish. I know it's a bit cheesy, but whatever, it isn't.
No, and another thing too, I'm sure you realize this too. It's not necessarily even about diving, it's about like going to those, when you travel, going to those places and like seeing local people.
New places.
I loved it. I mean, it was interesting enough to see how people could be smiling and happy and they have jack shit. And you're like, man, maybe I'm totally, not. I enjoyed that part of traveling and seeing different cultures and realizing that, like I was saying, I was talking to my friend this weekend about this because we were having a big, long chat. And it was like, I think, having worked in the community that I've worked in and worked with military forces from all over the world, I realized one thing, and it's everybody is just like everybody that's in the same job that whatever I was doing or similar or whatever it was. Everyone is just like me, pretty much motivated by having a good time, taking care of your family, whatever it is. They don't really give a shit about politics. Nobody gives a shit about politics. We just want to have a good time.
Strip it all back, We're all the same, man.
Yeah. And it's funny because like it was all the traveling, like working with Canadians, working with Romanians, working with Turks, working with Greeks, working with, and it was like we're all hanging out there drinking and having a good time and just bullshitting and realizing that everybody joined the military for like fun, a job or whatever it was, and then went down this path. And so it's interesting to me. And then you see people when you go to these villages in the fucking middle of nowhere and you see these people and you're like, do you think these people give two shits about this or that? I mean, all they're really worried about is getting their next meal and taking care of their kids and,
and that was a huge opener on the boat. These villages in Madagascar and stuff, we just gave anything we could. We'd have a few beers and go out at night, and we were like, oh, I like that guy. He's like got a friendly smile, and would go grab shoes and clothes out of just empty our wardrobes and just we're chucking anything off the boat to them, and they were just the happiest people. They pretty much took off. That fishing was done for the night, and it's cool, man. I just love seeing that. It does humble you. It's all good stuff.
Right. So
that's what I want to do. I want to see more of that. Just go to remote places. I don't want to go to these.
I'm right there with you.
These resorts, as you say.
I'm right there with you.
Not a chance. No. Yeah.
I mean, maybe if I was like, even my whole family, they're on the same page. They want to go like see the people, not.
That's neat.
Yeah. There's always a hint of danger to that as well, though. For sure.
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah.
So what's next for you or your channel? What do you call your channel? Is it still the Primal Pursuit? And then your name?
Yeah, my name, Ollie Craig, Primal Pursuit. Yeah, so I've changed it a few times over the years, but I think this one's going to stick for a while. Try to. Look, man, I just keep at it. Like, people always ask me, oh, man, it must take so much time editing and stuff. Why do you do it? Like, how do you find energy and stuff? I'm like, well, I wouldn't be doing it, mate, if I didn't enjoy it. So I do enjoy it. It was never the aim of the channel. I just enjoyed making videos and stuff. So keep doing it to a point where I'm actually a bit more comfortable money-wise. That will be a plus. So I can actually do a few more trips overseas and stuff and go to some real crazy places. That's the goal, man. But it's you know what, like, there's so much shit on social media and stuff at the moment, as you are aware of, and it's just 90% of it is absolute nonsense. Might be even more, might be 5% actually useful for you. So, like, there's a lot of people, politics, this and that, and it's like even if I stopped, even if I was super wealthy right now, I still would be making videos because I enjoy it, and it's just a thing people should be doing is just getting out there, man. Like I love this lifestyle, promoting it. It's really good. I get comments all the time, like guys that have been on the couch for 15 years, they've given up diving or something, and they like watched a few videos. I've got some inspiration. They're getting their gear back out, getting some new kit and just getting into it, and like it's cool, man. Like it's just such simple shit we can all be doing, and it's so good for the mental health, man. So good. Like I just feel a new man after a dive, even if I'm fucking exhausted and haven't drunk water all day and like just totaled. You just feel so revitalized, So yeah, I just want to keep pushing it, man. And it's nice, for people to see, even just watching me on YouTube if they don't even do the sport, and watching some person underwater or camping on the beach. It gives people a bit of a stress relief at night. It's nuts out there at the moment,
Yeah, I understand. I like what you said there. Yeah. I think too, it's all the negative shit. It's like it's nice to be able to do something positive, where you're helping. Like for me, you're helping people and being available, and people know, like, by being very, very transparent of saying, like, guess what, I'm a shitty diver or whatever it is. It gives an avenue for people to share, and I don't know, just see that there's other stuff out there, that we're normal people doing normal stuff to us, but somebody from maybe in the middle of the, Western Australia or in the middle of the desert, or someone is like, whoa, you can do that? It's like, yeah, it's no problem. And it gives them inspiration, I guess, like you said, to get off the couch. I wanted to know, is that pretty much what's next for you, is just getting the funds and bouncing around to some unique places? Is there anywhere specific that you want to share that you'd love to go and check out?
I've got a cool place. It's in the Pacific, but the species there are pretty similar to New Zealand. But I want to go to Indo. I want to go remote Indo. I mean, I think as most people do. I think there's just there's no denying that there's vast areas untapped there and undived. So it's just shit. That's a big place. I've started doing some research, but I wouldn't even have a clue where to start. But somewhere like that, I think, is going to be a good start. Somewhere fairly remote. I have my SpotX, which I'd mentioned earlier. That was quite a hard logistical trip. Just even the visas, we struggled even with all our help on the yacht and all that stuff just to get there. So that maybe later on. But yeah, I think Indo for sure. Somewhere tropical, man.
Yeah, you should get with Lenny from Aquatic Apes, because he's in Bali there, and he's trying to do kind of similar stuff. Right. Super good guy. That's the I will say
one, but
he's been trying to go more and more remote. But the best thing I will say about social media is networking with like-minded individuals. That's for sure.
I might just have to start putting some feelers out, but I'm ready to. I mean, it's shit here at the moment, New Zealand. We're right in the middle of winter, man. It's just raining and winding. It's even hard just to get out once every 2 weeks at the moment. But so pretty keen to just get over somewhere for a little while. I've got a brother-in-law, actually. He's from the Cook Islands. He's from one of the outer islands there. So I do have access to a pretty neat little island there. I'll do that when he next goes home. So that will be a cool trip. It's a very basic island. We just eat pigs off the land and shoot fish and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty keen to get back there. I've been there before I started spearfishing. Unreal drop-offs and fish life. So that one will be in the next year to two max, hopefully. So,
have you been to Chat? Yeah, have you been to Chatham Island off New Zealand? Do you know where that's at?
Chatham, no. that's one trip I do want to do as well. It's kind of one of the last places you can actually shoot a hapuka, which is like a groper bass type fish for anyone who's unsure. So yeah, you used to be able to get them all around the mainland, but obviously overfishing and stuff. So it's the last place where you can go and spear them. Really, one of the last spots, and I've got some good hunting over there as well. Tons of crayfish. Oh, there's heaps, but just even New Zealand, I haven't even touched the best spots in New Zealand here. Like I haven't been out to White Island. It's a active volcano off the coast here. That's a magic spearing in summer. Big kingies out there, like 30 kilo plus. And then we've got the Three Kings Islands, which are probably the world renowned spot for the biggest kingfish. They're 50 kgs plus up there. So. Yeah, I'm hoping someone listens to this and offers me a ride on their boat, because my little 3.8 meter inflatable is not quite going to cut it. I'm pretty limited from where I can go. Yeah,
I've heard of the. Yeah, obviously, I've heard of the Three Kings Island. Where is that off of? Is that off of the North Island? Off like the.
Yeah, the very north tip of the country. So it's another about 50 kilometers out there. It's just wild. Yeah, but that's probably one of the spearfishing meccas in the world. Really, you'd have to put it on one of the top spots just due to those large kingfish and just the amount of fish up there. It's literally basically untouched. It's insane. Just because the weather's so wild, you get only a few, like 5 to 10 chances to get up there per year for a normal trailer boat.
Right. There's a few places like that here that I know the same way. It's like you planning a trip is pretty much, it's tough. You can plan it with a window, but there's world record kingfish or yellowtail there, as we call them, at this spot too. But it's right. The other spot, I don't know if you've ever heard of Guadalupe Island, where all the great whites are and stuff like that here. Yeah. So, but the world record yellowtail for up here was shot there, and I think it was like 89 or 90 pounds.
The world record for there.
Yeah, for here, because it's different species, right? Like, yeah. Well, okay, so different. Yeah, that's why it makes sense. World record. Yeah. World. All right, you know what I'm saying.
I had to pull you on that one, mate.
No, it's perfect.
What is the record up there? In all seriousness,
I think for
how big do they get up there?
So a good sized kingfish here, would be like, that's a toad, would be 40 pounds. So 20, 18 kilograms or whatever.
Yeah.
19. Yeah, but so the world record is a guy, Brandon Whalers. He shot, I think it was 89 or 90 pounds. And that was at Guadalupe. That was
handle Where's Whaler? Is it that guy?
Yeah. Where's Whalers? Yeah.
Where's Whaler?
Yeah.
Oh, that's him? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he shot it.
What was that size?
That was 90 pounds, about 90 pounds, so like 40 kilos.
Oh, geez, they do get them up there. Yeah, okay.
Oh, and that's like that's rare, right? Anywhere 50, 60 pounds, that's like, good God. That's pretty awesome. My biggest is 40.
A lot of people give you guys up the California coast these big guns, but I'm the opposite. Like, I'm a firm, but like, just you're better to have more power and shoot through a fish. Everyone goes, if you shouldn't, just don't take the shot if you're, don't have the power or you have a small gun. It's like, but you never know what's going to swim by. What's the harm? And that's like hunting here in New Zealand as well. I've got a 308 caliber, and that's what I mostly shoot fallow deer with, which is pretty overkill. I mean, especially with the ammo you use, it blows a decent hole in it. But drop the animal dead, man. Like, these people that are into long range shooting and stuff, and these special calibers, and it's like, cool, mate, go to a range and shoot a target. But when you're hunting animals and fish, just get the job done. So if you've got a 3-4 band, spear gun over there for 10 kilo fish, who cares? Just shoot it.
Yeah. I'm obviously in that boat too, because that's the way I was brought up. But and people say, like, I talked to Chris Coates about
most of the time they're overkill, but you never know.
Yeah, Chris
Yeah,
Coates was talking about. He's like, "How do you guys dive with those giant guns, like deep?" And I'd say, like, we don't know any different. So, like, when we're diving deep, we throw the
yeah,
gun
you're right.
down. There are
Yeah,
certain techniques, but I will say I did hunt on shallow, coral reefs with a two-band pipe gun, and it was awesome, But
yeah,
if I was doing that
yeah,
and a sizable fish, a doggy swam through, like a sizable one, it'd be game
yeah,
over. I'd lose it. It wouldn't even work. But here on the California
yeah.
coast,
That's it, man.
yeah, I'd rather do an overkill just for that reason, like you said, because I never know what's going to swim in front of me, and I
Yeah,
want to make sure that I don't lose my fish. Um, but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but
Get
I
used
see
till you're
both
used to it.
sides. I
Yeah, I mean,
do.
people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll never go back to the wooden guns at which I learned on, but um, yeah, like rollers, they're definitely the way to go for yeah for everything. But hey, whatever, get the job done, eh? Yeah.
Which kind of guns do you use?
I've still got my Rob Allen's. So yeah, I bought my Rob Allen gun in South Africa. Um, yeah, so I've got that. It's just a 120 centimeter, 1.2 meters. So yeah, I switched that in summer to a roller. That's what I shot like my marlin with and stuff. But generally just a little 90 centimeter. What's that, like 3 foot little roller gun, little carbon roller gun. And that's my main gun, man. I shoot all my kingfisher with it, everything. It's heaps of power, man. Just little 14 millimeter bands, skinny things. Um, Next size down, I guess, from what's the normal 16 mil, 9/16 or something in your terms, 9/16, something like that.
It's so bad.
Gotcha.
The metric system is so good compared to the imperial system. Especially the more you use the metric system, you realize what the hell is like 11/32 or and
That's
instead
that's absurd.
it
Yeah.
is absurd. It's absurd. I will say I think we're one of two countries or three countries in the world that's doing it. It's like, God, dude, let's get our
That all
shit
that's left
together.
now, eh? Far out.
Yeah, there's three or something like that. It's I think it used to be
Yeah.
Burma or Myanmar maybe, or and then like we are, and then another
Oh
African
shit.
country. I'm like, what the
Fuck.
fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it's just too much to convert. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Rollers. That's it. So you're kind of a roller guy too now.
Oh yeah, I tried them for a bit, and I was on and off for ages. I mean, I just grew up on a double banded gun, and obviously the 3/4 band rifle, big wooden spear guns. Simple, they work. There's no doubt about it. They are simple, and nothing much goes wrong. Um, but yeah, and it's just a different way of kind of learning to aim and stuff. But I just kept going back and forth, and then finally just kind of clicked because you do get accustomed to a certain type of gun, even if it's slightly inaccurate, or you adjust the recoil, so you get used to it. But they do take a bit to get used to. But I'm pretty happy about them now, man. They're amazing. Like just especially in New Zealand for this, our general visibility underwater is not the best. So the shorter the gun, the better. So I can have a little 90 centimeter 3 foot spear gun and shoot anything up to 30 kilo kingfish at a reasonable range, easy. I'm not hesitant about that. I haven't got a kingfish that big, only 25 kilo, but yeah, I'd feel
That's a
confident.
solid one. Yeah, I agree with the. I built a roller, a double roller, and then I was hanging out with my friend who just does exclusively Manny subs rollers,
Yeah,
and his goal. He just came over. His goal was to shoot a bluefin with an inverted roller to show
yeah,
like it's possible and how powerful they are. And we were talking about that because I was like, dude, sometimes there's shots of like 30 feet, like with our conventional six band gun that shooting these big bluefin. But he pulled it off and he wanted to show like it's doable. And he did. He shot 100 pounder, 50 kilograms. But I kind of like, I'm kind of into the roller too. It takes a little bit, I think, to get them dialed in or get yours dialed in. And then once it's in, it's like you can't miss.
The majority of people out there aren't. Yeah, they're not. They don't have them set up correctly, and it is true. If they're not set up correctly, they're going to be no more efficient than a normal gun, and they're just going to shoot poorly. So, yeah, you just need to look at some of the top guys that are doing roller guns, Rob Allen and Chris Coates. I mean, there's heaps out there now. A lot of these European gun manufacturers, there's a lot of good companies out there now. But yeah, you've got to have them set up properly. I'm not a fan of these massive inverted things. Cool for blue water when you're shooting just big fish, when you've got like 8 bloody bands underneath and all this shit. It's just ridiculous. But there's no denying they do work. But for everyday spearfishing, just a simple single roller takes a couple of seconds longer to load than a traditional gun. Piece of piss. Yeah.
But like you said, though, especially in poor viz, a roller is so nice.
Yeah, man, it works down here.
Yeah,
man, they're just so. This is no recoil. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but yeah, not for everyone. If it works, if you got your traditional setup, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how can people find you? How can people find you on social media?
If you just search Ollie Craig, Ollie Craig, on Google, it'll pop up with most of my stuff. But yeah, Ollie Craig, Primal Pursuit, Facebook, Instagram, obviously YouTube. I think I've got a TikTok. I barely use it. Just can't quite bring myself to get into that one. But yeah, Ollie Craig, Primal Pursuit, just search that. And if you get onto one of my platforms, every platform will link to the other one. So yeah. But yeah, if you want to watch videos, obviously just straight to YouTube. That's where I'm most active, YouTube and Instagram. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. His Instagram has got a ton of good stuff. I mean, like you said, the hunting and the spearfishing stuff, both, it's all. And I think just because you're in New Zealand, it's just some beautiful landscape, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
So,
it's just a bit different from everywhere else, I suppose. Yeah.
There's just not a lot of people in New Zealand, you know? What's that?
Nah, there's not 4-5 million or something. Yeah, 4 or 5 million people. Bugger all. Yeah. Yeah.
And you said Primal. Do you have a website for Primal Pursuit?
Oh, that's another way to find me. Yeah, primalpursuit.co.nz. But that's all on my website and YouTube and whatnot. Yeah, but
well, good stuff, man. I thank you for your time and thank you for sharing your kind of your experience and how you got into spearfishing and working on yachts. We really would have loved to hear some interesting stories of maybe some lady friends. I don't know, but hey,
yeah,
it's not an X-rated show, so
up me there, Brett. Yeah, we'll have to do a X-rated version of the podcast, maybe. Yeah. No, good chat. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. And I'll put down in the show notes where people can reach out and get a hold of you and all of that. So good stuff.